Welcome, everyone. We are here for another very special edition of the Super Millions. It is season 2, episode 53. We got the man, the myth, JNandez coming in. We're going to tag him in here in a second. And we're going to be calling some huge action, another big prize pool, massive names. You may think it's a replay. There are some very familiar faces, but also some new ones. And there is some impressive milestones being goal for today. So JNandez, please come in. Please speak with me today on this beautiful game. It's not quite as beautiful, in my opinion, as 4-card and 5-card, but I love no limit, Texas Hold'em. I love high stakes tournaments, and that's what we got, a 10K buy-in final table from Sunday's play. It is the Tuesday Super Millions. JNandez, how are you?
I appreciate it. I'm doing very well. I think that two-card poker is an excellent format for tournaments. You have the ability to go all in straight away, and I think that kind of like makes this game so interesting as well.
Yes, well, you said it. It is interesting. It's fun. I will say there's some extremely high-level plays. Be careful guessing what they may do because these guys are sick, and it's fun, but it's definitely cutting edge. It's definitely high level, and there's a lot of exploits, a lot of very familiar faces that know each other, and also there's some, it's just fun. It's always fun to watch. I find this the most entertaining format on the internet right now for tournaments. We welcome in everyone. Please let us know where you're watching from. I'm Jeff Gross, JNandez here. We're going to go to the final table right now and look at some of these crushers of the game who are here again at the final table. So let's check that out. We'll talk about some of the people here. Like, there is absolutely insane crushers. Some guys actually, my man Nicholas Osted has won 5 times the Super Millions alone, which two in season 1, 3 in season 2. He's got like 5 million roughly in earnings. Let's kick him off right off the gate and get a profile on my man Nicholas Osted. And this guy, Victor Malinowski, as well. He's been here, it seems like, every week, but there's the GG Super Millions, almost 5 million. So he is basically guaranteed, even in 9th place, he would cross that milestone. So huge day coming up for him to cross that barrier. And then to his left, Victor Malinowski, one of the household favorites, a guy that just seems to be here all the time. Look at this, fighting to cross the 10 million GG winnings. He's got 3.692 million in GG Super Millions earnings. And of course, to his left, Jal Vieira, who is been guest on the podcast. He's around, and you are probably very familiar with this man who has had himself a big WSOP, and you can see over 10 million in GG poker earnings. So we'll flash some more profiles. We'll kind of continue around today. Of course, Juan Pardo Dominguez there, some other big names that are here, and we are going to be showing you a lot of action today. Anything stand out for you, JNandez? Any names that you are really familiar with? Or again,
for sure. I mean, Nicholas, aka Lena, is also a player who enjoys high-stakes PLO cash on multiple stops. During the year, when it comes to live poker, he also enjoys playing some high-stakes PLO. Victor himself, I played with him as well at some on GG in terms of PLO cash. So he also dabbles in and out of different games. He loves the game of poker and different variations. And I'm sure, both of these players are actually very aggressive players, and they tend to go for the win. And I think that's also why Nicholas he's not known as a GTO player, but he's known as a player that understands dynamics really well. And I think that's very key when it comes to final tables and tournament poker in general.
Yeah, that's, again, we're in agreement very early. And this is the prize pools we start seeing getting a little bigger, right? This is after the WSOP, people getting settled back in to their regular environments. And we see a $319,000 first prize. So very healthy here. And 9th going to get 44K. Of course, ICM, this is a critical portion of the tournament where that is a factor. We'd like to talk about that. How much tournament studying have you done for No Limit Hold'em? And do you play any No Limit Hold'em these days? Or are you strictly 4 and 5 card?
I sometimes dabble in there. What I enjoy about No Limit tournaments is that the strategy aspect behind it is very helpful to understand how to play No Limit tournaments and the ICM implications of it to learn PLO. Because there are so many differences between playing just normal stages of tournaments or cash games versus playing a final table. And in PLO, and GG also runs some very high stakes PLO tournaments, ICM is really an open book. So like no one really knows how ICM applies when it comes to pot limit Omaha. So we tend to learn from more experienced formats such as No Limit Hold'em. So I have been looking into how No Limit tournament players, especially experts on the subject, think and play when it comes to final tables to learn about my own game in PLO.
Well, we're going to learn some about Jal Vieira here because he has got a interesting spot. This is sort of a, it's like a hybrid, right? The ace jack off, you could flat, you could 3-bet, you also get a hand like ace queen off in a tough spot, but is it just too good to not play back or continue. The button is short. There's an open. He's opening and he does flat and gets top pair, top kicker. So I think there was a couple options there for Javier. He does go with the call, and now he is in a absolutely crushing position. If he doesn't get a running king 10 or running diamonds, he is going to be in a great spot. And this is a concerning flop for Marcos here, right? This is, you get flatted, not a great board, queen high, king high, and he's got a decision here himself.
It seems like ace queen is one of those hands that in this particular spot is almost always going to call, but never jams and never folds. So it's definitely, and also king queen suited could be in there as well. So that queen high flop is not an easy flop to apply too much pressure to. I think Marcos has to be a little bit careful here.
Yeah, so he does get called. He bets, relatively small, about 33% pot, if I'm not mistaken, 833 in the middle. He does pick up some equity. It's not a diamond, though, which would have been a welcoming card. And now, he has got the gut shot, but he does get called in the flop, and he's got to think, am I going to shake king, queen suited? What if my opponent has ace, queen? What if he has tens? He blocks jacks, blocks aces, right? That his opponent could be flat. And then here comes the king on the river. And this is not a great card for Javier, right? He realizes for value, ace, king, he could be up against. And he is also realizing, though, there are some hands he's in trouble with against, but the check on the turn is welcoming. And now we see a lot of players block or bet these spots in interesting kind of rivers like this, but he does go for the check. I would imagine not planning to be blown off this hand, although there are, like I said, got to keep on your toes, JNandez. People, you see a lot of crazy plays in these spots, although ace jack, I think this is one where this is just not gone as planned.
Ace king is very often in Marco's range, obviously. Betting the flop small, checking back on the turn. So he's blocking king jack suited. He's blocking ace king. He's going to go for the bet. And I think Zhao is probably not going to find the fold. He is blocking ace king himself.
This is where it gets fun, right? It's such high level. They all kind of know exactly where they're at. And this is interesting. He goes for the 50% bet size on the river. So this is where it kind of comes down to understanding your opponent, understanding what you think they're capable of. At this juncture of the tournament, they probably played together, right? Just towards the end, most likely with 2 tables, 3 tables left, probably familiar with the player, and may they say think long, think wrong. He's got a tough spot here. This is not a fist pump call. He does, though, as you said, make it, and there it is. Big pot going for Javier, the repping the Brazilian flag. Any Brazilians out there? I know he's Portuguese, I believe, background, but this is a good start for our friend who is now basically, for all things practical purposes, tied for essentially the chip leader. He's tied for second. There is a little gap with Nicholas Osted. So very well played and got the max there. Nice hand for Zhao. Wow. What a start, man. All right. We forget we're red or black. Let's get to it. We're going to bet for something, right? Let's bet. I don't know what you want to do, but let's bet at least a nice dinner, maybe for a +1 each. Is that fair? We could start red or black.
Sounds good.
I'll let you pick for the next flop, red or black.
I'm going to go with the color of love, which is red.
Okay, fair play. All right, so red it is. This particular flop would have been black, so you're already, ahead of the curve. You're free rolling that aspect. We're going to do a snake draft. We'll do 1, 2, 2, and then come back to 1. So that's how we will do it. I think my record's pretty good. I feel like it's been about equal. I've been, losing some dinners, winning. Ultimately, it's all fun. And, we'll let the winner choose where to go. As we see here, though, GoPro Warrior is not having the best hand, but he does have a very nice turn card, and he is going to continuation bet for a large sizing. So Nicholas Osted with the ace queen, kind of a spot where you start out blind on blind. It feels very good. And all of a sudden you're sort of wondering, what do I beat here? What's going on? And don't love it as much, especially for that sizing.
Makes the fold the best hand, but tough to call there, obviously.
Yeah, very, very nicely done from GoPro Warrior, who is, again, looking very familiar. If you take a look at his results, though, in the Super Millions, he has no cashes in season 2. Season 1, he did have 4 appearances, 1 cash. So the name sounds familiar, but I don't, hasn't had some of the bigger results here in the Super Millions, but we will see if that changes. And at the moment, we looks like we're going to see a flop here. Very likely. Malinowski with the 10-6 suited, and that is black. That is my flop. I
Oh,
will
no.
lead off with the pick. And looking at that, I mean, I got to go pretty clear pick for me. Nicholas Osted, one of the more accomplished crushers of the game with the chip lead and actually 5 Super Millions titles alone, 2 in season 1, 3 in season 2. That's my pick. Pretty straightforward. Chip leader and most experienced player. I'll go with Nicholas. Who do you got?
Joe.
You got Zhao, and then you get 2, actually. You can pick one more.
So given how the chips are distributed, I just have to go with GoPro Warrior. I'm not familiar with him as well, but he did just pick up queens, so that's good timing.
Oh, queens, jacks, there's a raise, and this is going to be a difficult spot for psychologists. Is going to have to find a jack. I do see one jack has been removed, as you see Nicholas Holcard's jacking off. So he's in dire straits here, and we will, after you pick the 2, I guess I could just go ahead and pick right now. I will take Juan Pardo Dominguez, who is a very formidable opponent. And man, can I draw? Let's see how this hand shakes out first. Queens to jacks. Let's see what happens here. We know there's 1 jack left in the deck.
Oh my God.
Poker, man. It's a wild game. It is a wild game. And psychologists just mind that in. He is going to double up to 685. Crazy swing for the field, right? Would have been a 12K pay jump. Everyone's kind of happy. Now he is sort of tied with his table mates to the right there. Crazy start to this final table, guys. And there we go. So this is kind of a man. Wow. He
picks up ace queen right away.
Got ace queen. He's back in the game. He's doing his thing. So, all right. So I got Juan Pardo Dominguez, and I will take Barack Wisbrod. I'm just going to go with the chips in that spot. So 2 to you.
I got 2 more to go. I will go with the psychologist because he showed if you can hit a 1-outer in this spot, I believe you might be able to win as well.
Yeah, it's hard to bet against that guy right now. He's feeling it, and he's got the best hand here on the flop in position. So let's see if he can win this pot. You get 1 more pick there.
I'll take Marcos on top.
Marcos.
Oh, actually, I'll take Victor. I have to take Victor.
Oh man, is this? I was like thinking now. Okay, yeah. You know what?
He's shorter. But I gotta take Victor.
Show. You're a guest on the show. I'll let that go. I'll let the pullback go. That's fair and well played.
Thank you.
And I got Marcus, right? That's the. Yep. Is there only one? Oh, and then there's Kakankote. Is that also? Or we forgot him?
Yep, he's still left. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, is that? I think we each had 4 though, right? And then there'll be 1 bonus. Is that right? There'll be an extra one. So I got Marcus, and then let's give the audience something to play for. JNandez. I like to do that. They already hit the thumbs up button. We got 40 people already out of 550. And guys, we welcome you. And if you're enjoying the show, please hit the thumbs up button. If we get to 200, I'm going to activate a $100 giveaway for Kakan Kote for you guys to sweat him for. Now they've cashed in. The audience has cashed in a big way here. Some $300, $200 giveaways. Let's start off with $100. If we can get to 200 thumbs up. Appreciate you guys engaging if you're enjoying the show. And then we are going to start calling the action. And my man JNandez and I have a dinner bet. Anywhere in Vegas? Are you anywhere that you are enjoying some dinner, some new places you got to try?
Well, I talked to a couple of people in Vegas about what are good places to eat. And the thing is, there are just so many, just infinite places that are good. It's hard to survive as a restaurant in Vegas if you're not good because the competition is so staggering. So there's just so many places that are good on strip, off strip, different cuisines. It's just amazing.
Fair enough. It's true. It's hard to really single some out. I know Kabuto's always been one I love. It's a sushi place off the strip. Hope you've been there. There's some other really cool spots. I mean, obviously, like you said, you can name and go on and on. So a lot of cool places. And you're enjoying Vegas so far on your move?
Absolutely. It is an interesting city, obviously for poker players specifically, but it's a city where everything is sort of on your fingertips if you want that, in terms of food, poker action, whatever floats your boat, essentially. I'm definitely enjoying my time here.
Yes, it's a nice, I've spent a lot of time there. Lived there, I guess, in theory for a portion of my career. And I think if you're a poker player, you kind of have to have Vegas in your repertoire. You got to say you lived in Vegas at some stretch of your career. So you're checking that off the books right now. And I believe you're from Switzerland. Is that right?
Yeah.
Originally, or you live there? I just was there for the first time not long ago, maybe a month ago as well. Went to a few different places and was in Lake Como, kind of going around and very beautiful. So congrats. That is how
do you experience the traveling? You seem to travel a lot.
I love it. I love traveling. I've got a 3-year-old and keep him busy, but he'll start school at some point, like a firm school, and it'll probably be a little less travel and just kind of getting it in, man. After it's COVID obviously was a bit crazy, and now trying to open up a bit and catch up for lost time. So enjoying that, but it is nice to be in a routine as well and be in one place. So it's
It looks like the chat favorite picks up a big hand.
yeah, and not a bad spot against an open with king five suited, although it looks like still he's short. It's only 11 blinds, but this is not a spot where Nicholas Ostet's going to be raise calling off almost ever. It's like, let's see, king five suited, 11 blinds for a min raise. Yeah, I mean, this is his wheels are spinning, but just not quite enough. He knows he's going to be dominated a lot, and that particular spot was in not a great spot. So Kakon Kote is on his way. He's got ace 10 as well. And interesting decision here off of the stack sides when he sees Victor go ahead and open it up. I mean, this is a little less appetizing, although a consideration.
How would you play this with ace 10?
Victor off that stack. There's still 3 players left behind ICM wise. I mean, it's probably in a vacuum of fold, although you could make some exploits. I think if Nicholas opened, right, maybe you could shove or jaw with their chip stack, might be the differentiator on that decision, but I think I'm good with folding. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as familiar with No Limit, but my impression is that Victor is not here to go like second. I think he probably doesn't respect the ICM as much as maybe the other tournament players. At least that's like intuitively how I would think about the way he approaches it. But we'll see it based on his opens in the future here on this table.
Yeah, one of the more impressive players. I mean, he plays so many. He's got 44 appearances on the season alone with 17 cashes, and he is in the money 39% of the time. 2 wins this season alone, 1 last season. So my man gets this tournament in, and he's very familiar with the structure, the players, and he's hard to bet against, and he's already on his way chipping up. So good to see a lot of familiar faces here as well in the chat. We appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. And we are going to be playing to a winner today. This is season 2, episode 53, and we're off to the races here with your man Kakon Kote with ace 10 off again. This time, gonna just pick it up. He's kind of smooth sailing up to about 800K roughly. So a nice start for your guys' free roll, 757,000. Where would you choose if you could choose somewhere to go to dinner? Call it in the world where you've been, or a place, or maybe home in Switzerland, a place. Where would you like to go to the dinner if you were to win?
Oh, what is a nice dinner? Let's see. I really value atmosphere quite a bit when it comes to dinners, because there are very good places in Vegas, but not all the places offer like a nice atmosphere where we can have like a nice conversation, good service, and that kind of stuff. I think Victor has an interesting decision here. He has jacks in the big blind. Yeah, it's going to all in.
Yeah, and Marcus is a bit frustrating, right? You have a playable hand, you're not expected. It's the last player to act. That always hurts, the variance in poker and the butterfly effect, right? Like, oh, I'm probably going to get it through, maybe get called and get to play in position, and then you just get stuffed on. Player wakes up with a big hand. So Marcus has to let that go. There are a few sort of jumbled stacks there in that 700, 600K range, as well as some big stacks. We see the 3 sort of very healthy at the top. So we got a full mix here.
One of the cities I appreciate also a lot for food and atmosphere is Buenos Aires in Argentina. They have a very interesting mix of cultures of like Italian food, sushi, and steak. So I enjoy Argentina and Buenos Aires a lot in terms of like traveling and culturally. It's also very nice.
That's a great call. Well, listen, I'm not saying dinner is included. We're not flying destination for dinners. We should clarify that. Although that would be a pretty savage bet, to make you and the fam, or you and the +1 fly to that would be. I'm gonna maybe do that for like the season finale. That's kind of sick, right? Or you make them fly to where you're at. That's even for the convenience. So we'll think about that, but not today. I would say, cuisine, that is one of the things I love. I do love trying new places and seeing some great spots around the world. That's one of my joys. So we are playing for dinner, and we haven't lost any players yet. And you guys have Kakon Kote as your dark horse today. Let's see if you can get it done. And again, JNandez is known. Tell them about yourself real quick as we gonna get likely, to see a raise and a peel here, but where can people find your King 9 off fold? Where can people watch you, get your content, and what is your specialty?
I play PLO full time since 2010 or 11. That's when I started. I mean, back then, PLO was a much different landscape. It was a much smaller game. These days, it rises in popularity. I also play 5-card PLO, which is currently very, very popular around the world. And I dabble sometimes in No Limit Hold'em, but more so you can say for fun. But I've been playing PLO now consistently for the last 10 years. Recently moved to Vegas to play here some of the high stakes cash games essentially, but also travel around the world in terms of competing at different levels essentially. I also have a YouTube channel where people can find more about myself.
Full deal, man. YouTube, Instagram, like tell them where they can find you, man. Don't be shy. This is your people. This is GGPoker. This is a man involved with GGPoker. He's a representative, a sponsor. He's the guy. So tell them where to find you.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to follow my behind the scenes sort of journey, you can find that on Instagram at JNandez Poker. On YouTube, I do longer form videos, also strategy videos on PLO. So if you want to learn more about the game, that's usually where you find me. I also have a coaching site, the PLO Mastermind, which we started in 2018. And we have 5 coaches in there that coach anywhere between low stakes 4-card PLO tournaments, but also 5-card PLO, because that is now a very much popularizing thing. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check it out on plomastermind.com.
Very, very cool. I can tell you 5-card PLO is bursting. And in South Florida in particular, I know at the Hard Rock where they spread, it was mainly PLO for a while, 4-card. It is now 90% plus PLO 5 from what I understand. And it is a game that also I know like my kind of group of friends and people that play poker, that's like the game of choice. It started out like, oh, let's do a round of each, try it. And then people have never played it. And then they play it. And then you know how it is. It's like playing Hold'em and PLO and you do a round each is kind of like the PLO sort of dies like in the game, or the Hold'em, like people like, it's sort of boring. And if you're playing 4 and go to 5, it's like, it's kind of hard to just be like, okay, like let's do
It's hard to go back. It's very hard.
How much do you enjoy 5 versus 4 now? Has it shifted for you?
I would say no. I would still enjoy probably 4 more, but it depends. So the thing is, when a game is very new, especially a gambly game like 5-card PLO, you tend to see a lot of like 5-way and 6-way flops. We have an interesting hand here just for a moment to cover. We have a raise and a re-raise, and Nicholas sitting on ace king. I have no idea what he's going to do here.
Let's see. So raised min is like a min.
Oh, he has a flip back. Okay, he goes with that.
Full throttle, and Kakankote, your people, your champ does get away though. So okay, fair enough. So no harm, no foul. Nicholas is going to extend his lead, and you guys are still in there. 77 thumbs up. I appreciate it. I can't tell you how much it helps with the show. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. We do appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up. We got over 770. About 10% of you have hit the thumbs up. If you guys are enjoying it, if you like JNandez, if you like PLO 5, if you like any player at the table, if you like the color purple, hit the thumbs up, give us some support. And that is what is at the, I love the GG final table. Isn't it just something that's like it feels good when you get there. It's just like, it's kind of like, man, they just got it right. The little neon on it and the table, you know, reshuffle, the whole thing. It's just fun.
It's like a reward.
Yeah, it's nice. It just feels good for sure. And there's some big action. I know they just released the WSOP schedule online. So that will be, I think, August 14th until mid-September. And of course, that main event. I am going to be in Brazil, and hopefully I haven't streamed in so long, but I am going to dust off the cobwebs, hopefully get a few streams on my Twitch channel and try to win a bracelet, because I still don't have one of those. That hurts. What about you, JNandez? Is that on your radar to win a bracelet online, live? Do you think it matters to win either one? Does it count the same?
I mean, Omaha tournaments are very soft because a lot of no limit players just jump in there. So it's I always enjoy them. And also PLO cash players, like they struggle as well when it comes to PLO tournaments, because a lot of things are counterintuitive. If you play PLO cash for a couple of years and you have 10 big blinds in a tournament, like what are you going to do? Like you never studied this spot before. So it's definitely an exciting format for me, because I put a lot of work into this format, and it's definitely also paying off. So I'm looking forward to WSOP online, because I know GG is also taking care of the PLO side of things, and there are very interesting events scheduled, and oftentimes you see a lot of guys even that are playing on this table jump into the PLO events as well. So I'm looking forward to that and competing.
Yeah, it's interesting. And is there a 5-card event? Did they mix that in yet? Because I know they just spread
No,
that
not
to Hard
yet.
Rock. Not yet. It's a little bit, I think that'll be on the next series, right? That's sort of it's on the radar now that it's becoming very popular. So that is something I believe we'll see more and more of. And here
Oh
we
my
see
God, this is a huge hand. This is
sick, very sick. Actually, look at Nicholas though. I mean, there's really no path out. If anything, psychologists may get a lot of action here, right? Because we're going to see he's got 12 blinds. It's thinking, does it look weaker to shove? Do I just min raise? Do I have a min raise off the stack, which I think a lot of players do now. So let's see what he goes with here.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Like for me as a no limit hold'em specialist, I was surprised by how often people min raise on very short stack sizes, but this time it won't happen. I don't think Nicholas can fold. And obviously Eric in the big blind isn't folding either.
This is sick. This is super sick. I mean, Nicholas is, this play, as it turns out, he might get a triple up opportunity. Of course, we know kings versus ace queen off and queens, though. He is lucky that the queens sort of blocking each other. You still got to fade that ace. So be a pretty good spot, although it's not a guarantee, right? He still things can go awry. He's got to fade 3 flush draws. Oh, wow. Look at
wow,
this.
A fold.
Wow. So actually kind of better for him in a way. Now he's just getting a chance to double up a bit, but he has to fade essentially the one out. And now look at this, 90% favorite, has to fade, doesn't want to pair his card. And we see a possible 9 or a king on the river. It is not. And 1.3 million, the psychologist, love the name, love the momentum, and he is on the way. And this man can't believe it. That is a WAP, a self-declared WAP, because that is a 6 spot. Nothing you can do, has to call. That is what we call a cooler, and psychologist is on his way to a potential big day after a good stop. He sends the prayer out, the thank you. He knows that was fortunate, and he is look at Nicholas, man. What a savvy fold there, huh? What do you think?
That was a soul read. I didn't know that that's a fold, but apparently, I mean, he's right, so I'm not going to question it. This is also a sick flop, by the way.
Very sick flop, and a problematic one if you are one of the viewers at home that is hitting a thumbs up, because you got a 7-8, which you could think is good, which it actually is in this case if a 7 or 8 comes, but your flush draw is not, and that is a big portion of the equity that you would want to have in this hand. So he does just call, and this is
GG.
GG, guys. I do have a rule. The good news for you guys though is when you guys get knocked out first, I love to give you additional sweats, because I just don't, that's not fun. If I give you guys a sweat and they're out first, I'm gonna have to kick it up. Although I would say there's only 92 thumbs up. If we get knocked out, we're gonna have to get you guys moving here a little bit to get another player activated for your $100 free roll. But wow, check back. I still, with the SPR, stack to pot ratio, really no way, right? It's gonna go now. He's got to go betting, and Juan Pardo with the stone cold nuts. Look at that check back, man. JNandez. That's kind of cheeky. If
the river would have been a spade, it would have been really bad for Juan to have the check back there. But the river is just perfect now. Because if the river hits a spade, that's the only way for the big blind to get away from this hand, sort of cheaply. But now there's just really no way out here.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, he check, snap, call. I mean, he's hoping his opponent in his mind is going to take a stab or bluff or hit the king. And that is really unfortunate. And there is a good game, good sportsmanship after a sick cooler and a couple double ups where he could have been in better spot. But you could see a lot of reason to be a good sport. He has got almost 2 million in, actually exactly on the dot. He's going to cross that 2 million earnings on GG Poker. So well played, Kakan Kote. And we are going to be 8-handed where everyone's guaranteed 56,000. Guys, we got to get to 200 before I'm even offering another 100 thumbs up, man. There's 1,000 people watching. Let's get motivated. Let's get activated. If you're enjoying the show, hit that thumbs up, and we will put in someone else. I got to find someone. I'll give you someone a little spicier. You know, if once we hit 200, I will let you know who I'm going to give you, but I'm feeling generous today. I'm feeling good, feeling fresh, feeling ready to rock. And we're going to get you guys back in for a $100 free roll. Who was that for? That was no one, right? Me and you still. So we have 4 guys each currently on our bet. Okay. No harm, no foul. And right now, Juan Pardo Dominguez is going to get to play a pot with a jack high flush draw. I just saw the news on flush over flush does call, doesn't hit his flush. And Nicholas has a pretty powerful hand here, top pair, top kicker, and a diamond in his hand. So we'll see what he does with sizing. I think one of the most interesting parts of no limit hold'em and any form of poker is bet sizing, right? When you look at the best in the world, how are they manipulating and maneuvering pots? How are they getting value in spots? what sizings are they choosing and why? And we see a big sizing there as the board got more dynamic and dicey. We see a larger sizing, and Nicholas increases his lead and picks up the pot, 4.2 million. Well played.
I mean, he has done everything right so far. He folded the ace queen when it was the worst hand. He was able to build up more chips. It really looks like this might be another victory for him.
Yeah, that exactly. That is man, we see he values his chips. He did fold ace queen, a spot where most of us, myself included, would have probably just decided to call there. Although I talk about ace queen all the time. Daniel Negreanu calls it 2.7 hand back in the day. And I just feel like so many times it's like not great situations, right? It's hard to really get value, or you're putting your chips at risk. And even against a hand you're dominating, it's not an amazing spot. So you know, he gave it up. There's people behind. He just says, I got the chip lead. This is marginal, and I'm not a marginal player. I'm going to move on and find better spots. And he's already up to 4.3 million and saved himself a lot of chips there.
What does that mean, a 2.7 hand?
That it cost him $2.7 million in his poker career, ace queen. I remember this from like a World Series, like one of the early coverages. He like did like a side, it was like a side event. He was doing his little talk on the side of the camera, and he was like, yeah, ace queen is, he calls it the 2.7. And so that stuck with me forever. And I wish I just always like folded or decided to just like minimize pots. Cause like, I know hand just doesn't get it done for me. And I just feel like that hand is like one of the more problematic hands. It just doesn't seem to work out ahead, behind, or flipping. And it makes sense why, right? You're just going to be against pairs or, you know.
Oh, we see a call here. This is essentially like a 7 big blind shove by Marcos. Maybe Nicholas even calls. Doesn't have such a bad hand here for like 4 big blinds-ish. Not the flop you're looking for when you have pocket eights, but he only has 126,000 behind, all in. Call. Okay. You have a sweat, 73% goes up to 86. Oh my God. That's brutal.
Man, tough. And yeah, he says sorry he's not in the hand, but he knows because it's a pay jump and it is tough. And there it is. A Marcos Ladev is going to go out. Let's take a look at his GG. He hasn't been too active on the site. Looks like he must have a final table. It has 436K in GG winnings and only 2 cashes. So most of those must have been pretty healthy. Maybe a second place in there, or third place, because he has a nice payday at the Super Millions. But as we stand 7-handed, JNandez, it is moving. People are starting to shake and bake. After we saw that one outer, we have lost a few players from here. And again, I'm getting ready to give you guys someone. We need to get to 200 thumbs up, and I'm going to activate your $100 giveaway. If we don't get there, it just won't happen. The later it goes, the less likely it's going to happen. But I'm feeling generous. I want to give you guys a big name. I want to give you some chips. I want to give you a real sweat. We tried from the back of the pack. You guys have capitalized on giveaways with that, but obviously that's harder. And we are going to give you someone who is willing and able if we can get to that 200 thumbs up. JNandez, what is your thoughts on online poker right now with 4-card, 5-card? Is it healthy? Is it growing? Is there more games popping up? How difficult are the games? Give me your overall thesis on the PLO streets currently.
I think PLO is very healthy. It is just, I would say that the thing about online poker is if you're a tournament player, you obviously want to be able to play on GGPoker because they have the biggest prize pools in the world. So you will see a lot of the no limit hold'em players, they move basically into a location in the world where they can access GG, so they can play these massive prize pools. And in cash games and in cash games in general, it's a little bit different because you're not as reliant on these massive guarantees that a site like GG can offer to you. So it might sometimes give the impression that cash games are not as big as tournaments because you can see like hundreds and thousands of people playing these tournaments, but the cash game sort of ecology works a little bit different. And what I have realized is that a lot of people play PLO live online across the world on different sites because here in the US, for example, you don't have access to GG. And so it is definitely growing, and it is also moving in terms of GG introduced a lot more Omaha tournaments into their schedule, which hasn't been there before, which grew the popularity of Omaha in general. But also the introduction of 5-card Omaha, I think, is also a very smart move because we saw from different locations and different app games that people really want to get into the 5-card streets. So I think that's also a movement that is very, very healthy. And it's a very unexplored game, which means that people will find chances to build whole careers of it and have fun playing the game because it's not as solved and sort of like laid out as No Limit Hold'em, for example.
Yeah, I agree with you. Makes a lot of sense. Well, I'll tell you what, that queen three, we're talking about that. That's the Helmut hand now that's become famous. And here the ace jack off has a problem because
wasn't it queen four? Is it queen three or queen four?
Oh, maybe you're right. You might be right. I did see a queen three somewhere mentioned in the chat, but I think you might be right. Actually, I don't know why that was mentioned earlier, but this is, if you open queen three off, shows Nicholas, he folds ace queen off, he plays queen three offsuit, and now he's betting big. Although in this particular spot with ICM and psychologist spot, of course, this is not really a feasible ask to hold on. Not, and I should say hold on. I mean, he's beat anyway, but to continue, I should say. So nicely done, Nicholas, showing us his full range, making big folds and light opens. So he is doing a very nicely executed chip lead stack and finds a spot and gets it through and picks up a big pot. So well done. And here, Barack is got 8 blinds and just sort of a fist pump shove, and will be met with the call. And these guys have the same hand, that famous ace queen hand.
If Nicholas is willing to open queen three, I wonder how this will turn out here.
Yeah.
Also, how often do you open queen three and flop 2 pair?
Yeah, that's hard to do.
The momentum is on his side today.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. We are down to 7. We are here at the Super Million Season 2, episode 53. Thanks again for being here. I see so many familiar faces. I see a couple giveaway winners picked up. I believe Greg Curtis here in the chat can verify. I think I got you 200 a week or 2 ago. So congrats to you. Thanks for coming back. And we have got Psychologist, who is sort of on the free roll, let's call it, today. After could have been out 9th, he's now down to 7-handed and has some chips. He does open up ace 10 suited, flops the gut shot, backdoor nut flush draw. Best hand is in position. Definitely board's going to favor him. Like to see a small bet here, quarter, 30%. See if he does fire that. He goes for a 3rd pot. And picks it up. Nicely done. So we are, again, moving forward here. We are going to be playing to a winner, 319 up top. Queen 6 suited, Juan Pardo Dominguez. How familiar you are with Juan's game? Have you seen him around some of these high stakes tournaments?
I mean, the name rings a bell, but I'm not sure how he looks like. Let me just double check that online. But I'm pretty sure that he probably was active at WSOP this year.
Yeah, he's a crusher, and he's got the nut flop, the 118 to 1
wow.
flop a flush, and he flops just that. And Nicholas with the 5-6 off, there's 400K in the middle, and we saw Juan check back the nuts on the turn. So let's see if he goes for a different type of play. It's also a very different board, right? A spot where you don't block any of the pairs. Easily could have, you know, an ace, maybe somehow hit 2 pair or something. And Nicholas wheels may be spinning here with a heart,
wow.
Although he just does give it up. I mean, sort of a big ask to try to get, at some point, the great players are creative. They do make plays, but you got to know when, it's not, you don't have to try to win every pot, and good instincts and intuition to not be aggressive. That would have cost him a big spot. Here we see with the chip lead in the ICM, you got to believe he is going to be aggressive. He does limp though. And Victor has the goods. So Victor would have welcomed a shove. Now let's see what he does. Does he have anything besides a shove? Does he go for the 3X, maybe even smaller?
Got
to raise something. Got to raise something, of course.
We know Nicholas likes the queen 3, but how much does he like the queen deuce?
Yeah, it's true. All right, we're at 149 thumbs up. We are gonna go ahead and try to give you guys a $100 giveaway. Let's get those up to 200 if we are going to activate. We're already down to 7, man. This is, I never know what to think anymore. It's been the last few have gone for a long time. We've had some short shows. Just depends on the chips distribution, obviously how the chips break. So we'll see. I think 2 hours usually a good over under. We are about 45 minutes in. Welcome in if you're just joining us. Jeff Gross alongside JNandez
and a call.
Oh yeah. Wow. there's for sure going to be a call. It just depends if what GoPro Warrior goes with here. Actually, I saw there's already an all in and a call, and GoPro Warrior. Not much to think about here. I think there's also 3 other players behind, so we will see a classic flip, million in the pot. There is that ace right away. Another one, just in case he missed the flop. Let's see the river. Can Juan Pardo Dominguez find Jin? No, so we'll stay with 7, and we will see things even up a little bit there as Barack gets a much needed pot to stay in the game. And he is using all the emojis. He's very thankful because he knows that was an important one for his life. And Psychologist picks up a pair, early position, 6s, 7-handed. You start seeing some people fold like 4s and 5s right under this, especially full ring. This is obviously a little stronger. It's also 7-handed, not 8 or 9-handed as we start the final table, but he is going to get met with some resistance here.
We got a couple of healthy chip stacks here, which definitely makes it interesting to see how they approach pressure at this point. If Nicholas is going to try to drag that chip lead all the way to the top, or if he's going to play somewhat conservative, because we do have some other stacks here in the mix that can also definitely hurt his chip stack. We see a fold here of Psychologist with 6s. Did have the best hand, but yeah, kind of an all-in or fold situation kind of there. Decided to fold.
Yeah, one of those risks with the pairs when you open there. It's you do see ace queen suited or ace king run into, and then can't get to continue and realize your equity a lot of the time, but kind of have to open it too. So just one of those spots. We can see a blind on blind queen 3, man. Maybe JNandez. I'm gonna take a note here. I think there might be a new chapter in the book written, and that's the problem. If you're not active in the streets on No Limit Hold'em, things happen. New tendencies happen, new population tendencies, new tricks are learned and figured out. And maybe queen 3 is the newest addition to that I'm not up to speed on, but we are seeing some activity with queen 3.
Not sure what. Oh, he goes all in with jack 9 offsuit. Wow, it's pretty unconventional. That's interesting. I don't think that was, I guess, standard, but I guess he has like a read or something. But jack 9 off, blind on blind jam. It's like a decent hand to call out, I would think.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice little mix there. You put keep your opponents guessing and find in some trickeration there. That was definitely, again, as you mentioned, not what I would think would be the standard line, but it's part of the fun of this, right? There's guys exploiting, there's guys experimenting, there's guys doing different things, and we don't know. That's why it's fun, right? We don't always know what people are going to do, and everyone's got their own brand and style. And some people are looking to ladder spots, some people are looking for max pressure, and that is why tournaments are beautiful. And here, Nicholas, I mean, maybe he's just playing a lot of tables, right? This is maybe the greatest online tournament poker player. Yeah, that would have been a lot. That would have really been a lot.
What about the Psychologist in terms of his record?
So the Psychologist,
is he known at all?
He has not participated in Super Millions until this season, so first time, and he has actually only played 1 previous appearance and no cashes. So this is his first time on the radar here, and seventh place locked up. So he's profitable, right? Like it looks like he's only had one entry. This will be a second entry, and he's guaranteed 72K. So far a good ROI. Maybe a satellite. There are satellite opportunities, right? $100, even less. You can kind of ladder in 1Ks, 500s, get your way into the 10K. Obviously a tough field, but we do see some familiar faces mixed in with some new faces, and pretty cool tournament. Have you played the Super Millions before, JNandez?
Yeah. But obviously I'm like outclassed by all these tournament wizards, but it's still fun, obviously. And as you can tell, there are different kinds of players for sure that are also satelliting into it.
Yep.
Okay, well, big hands you're colliding.
Yeah, Jackson 10, 7-handed in this positions. This is going to be a likely big confrontation. Of course, GoPro Warrior does have some flats here in this spot, and he does go with that. So at least for the immediate moment, that is going to avoid a massive pot. Let's see. Also on the King 6-7, this is could avert a huge pot, but start with a check from Juan Pardo Dominguez, recognizing that king is a scare card, also sixes and sevens possible or a flat. So a few hands that do beat him, and he will likely just go in a check call formation. Okay, 5 hearts rolls off on the turn. We see a flush draw on the flop that doesn't come through. 6-12 in the middle, and GoPro Warrior in control of the hand. Does he set the pot size? Does he kind of keep control, or does he relinquish and give up here? And now Juan Pardo Dominguez does have an interesting situation. You do realize kind of where you're at. What can you get called by? Does it make sense to blocker bet here maybe, or just check? I've seen a lot of blocker bets in these spots in the last few weeks, but here we do see a check. And now GoPro Warrior, the board gets a little more dicey, does check back, and really not a huge pot, but well done for GoPro to not lose many chips there.
Yeah, he avoided a disaster for sure. See a walk in the big blind, or I guess an under the gun raise, and folds.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and still stay 7-handed here. 60K big blind, so the blinds are up, and there is an ante, of course, in the middle. And GoPro Warrior going to open up the Jack 10 off, and Nicholas Asta with the King Jack off versus a big stack who opens on a gun. Definitely a spot where he could consider getting a little frisky, but he does respect the open, and GoPro Warrior picks up a pot that he would not have been having access to if he had folded. It would have been obviously Nicholas opening the King Jack off, and here we get to see Ace Queen off, and Juan Pardo Dominguez with a suited Ace-4 in the small blind 7-handed, wheel spinning. Thoughts are here for some opportunities for creativity.
Could also call.
For sure.
It's a small open. There's some antes involved, but goes for the 3-bet. This is tough for Nicholas. I don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah, we saw Jalvera play a similar spot where he got 3-bet. He had ace queen. He did have the best hand, did hang on. And in this spot, he's in position, but this is a problem for him. We saw him also just pitch ace queen to an all in. A little different spot, but this is a 2 million chips, right? Like he definitely could be dominated here. I just think for this price, this is likely we'll see a call, but here he goes again. Similar flop, right? His hits decently hard, although it's still concerning.
Yeah, ace king and kings and aces are obviously in that range, but so are other hands. Nicholas also has the ace of diamonds, could make a backdoor flush.
Yeah, so Juan, I'm going to go ahead and c-bet quarter pot roughly, and this is one of those spots where Nicholas certainly is going to be continuing. But if you're Juan, you have some decent cards to barrel here: clubs, a 5, a deuce, and this is actually a pretty spicy card.
It's only a pot-sized bet left, so I'm not sure what Juan really can do because he doesn't want to check call it off. Could go all in, but it's a big risk to take right now.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And you're also kind of getting into the territory of some suited broadways to make 2 pair. So this is super interesting. These are spots I love to see, because this is tricky, right? It's like one thing to 3-bet ace-4 suited, sure, that's in people's playbook. You've continuation bet, and then where do you go though? What do you do on the turn? Do you preserve stack? Do you try to force equity? Do you push people off hands? Do you check back? And if you're Nicholas, you have kind of a weird hand. Like, why is my opponent checking now? I have ace queen. Am I good? Can I turn my hand into a bluff? Do I need a bluff? This is what the greats do. They figure out where they're at. They figure out how to maneuver. And in this particular spot, Juan Pardo Dominguez, the good news is he's got a winner. He has the stone cold nuts, 100% hand locked up. The bad news is there's not really a lot of bad news. Just in terms of getting paid though here, it's like, how do you get paid? What do you do? What can my opponent have? Why did he check back? What do I do? Do I bet? Do I try to really extract some value? He's got showdown, or do I just go for the juggler and hope that I coolered him? So that felt about right. The third pot, and difficult spot for Nicholas. I think he's going to realize that there's not a lot of good news here, but the price is affordable.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, what is he what hand is not betting the turn that is now betting the river? Because a hand like ace 10 or 10-9, a set on the turn, like all those hands have such high incentive to bet because there are 2 flush draws on the board and a bunch of straight draws as well. So it feels like a very polarizing bet in some ways, because I mean, maybe Kwon could have ace king and like pot control the turn. That's also a possibility. This is definitely an iffy spot, because Nicholas looks like he has ace queen there a lot. He would probably jam ace king pre, probably bets king queen or king jack suited on the turn or any sets. So he's definitely kind of face up, considering making a big hero call here against a hand like 8-9 or something along those lines, or like ace 4. And Kwon could also have ace 4 of spades and pull this move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does he have ace 4, you know, or ace 5 suited? Some of these hands, they turn to a bluff. And I think, yeah, I mean, the price is affordable, and you can see he's really using some chess clock here. That ticker ticking down. Every player gets 15 minutes to start the final table. Most players have used about the same time, not a lot, but now we see our first real tank. Nicholas is thinking hard, long and hard. Also knows the player really well, right? These guys battle for some of the highest stakes tournaments in the world consistently, know they're capable. That's a big difference than maybe another player, right? Who we realize not as much experience, or someone that probably is less likely bluffing out of the small blind and falling through or doing that. So I think, you know, if you really put in a vacuum, I think more weighted towards call in a spot where you think someone's capable and experienced. But this is a really difficult decision.
Yeah, this is very tough. I think he's going to end up folding, but I'm really unsure.
They say think long, think wrong. I love that expression. I think he's going to find a call somehow here, but yeah,
it's hard to pinpoint the value. It's also hard to pinpoint the bluffs. Goes for the fold.
All right. JNandez, you got that one right. I hope you don't get the picking right for our dinner, but you got that spot right, and chalk one up for the PLO whiz. Tough spot, right? Really tough spot. We see that he didn't have the best hand. The delay is set where there's no issue for a mishap, but the players are on a delay, and obviously we don't take the break normally online on GG as well as across the board on online poker. You do get that break for 5 minutes. There is a delay, and then we skip that. So Mr. Nandez, if you have to use the restroom at any point, let me know.
Sure.
I used to be trained during, like, when I was grinding online a lot and playing, I would be like every hour. Even after for like a month, I'd have to like go to the bathroom every hour on the hour. But now I'm set for like the two hours on here. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. We are going to play to the winner straight, and we are 7-handed for what seems like a while now, after a couple quick bust outs.
Maybe a deciding hand for Victor Malinowski. Pocket nines in the small blind versus ace king from GoPro Warrior.
And we see a call and nines. Pretty good spot to be jamming here. Although, yeah, just thinking like trap wise with Nicholas off these stack sizes, like there's only really one jam stack, but I mean, this is a pretty big hand, and we are at 182, guys. I'm trying to get you guys that free roll for $100 for an opportunity, but we still are not at 200 thumbs up, and I am going to give you your next one once we get there. And there it is, all in. This is a big spot. Ace king certainly not folding. Nicholas will remove himself, and nines are going to have the best hand and get a little extra value with that 144 put in off his stack. That is important for Victor. See if he can hold on the flip. We see one king at least immediately removed. I didn't notice the other cards, but nines in a decent spot. 1,400 people right now. Welcome in to the show. Season 2, episode 53. We got a big flip. 1.5, 1.6 in the middle. Ace king to nines. Oof, the ace spread out in the middle. Last one to see. Needs help on the river. 4.55%, or Victor will be going out. Another ace. Ace king is hot right now on the flips, and we are going to be saying we see a good look and another nice showing from Victor. Just seems to be at the final table every week here. Couldn't get over that 10 million mark with that score today. Would have been a powerful score for first, putting him at 4 million Super Millions earnings and 10 million GG Poker wins. Gonna have to wait for that, but he is active and he is a fan favorite. So nice score. Congrats. We'll see more of him for sure. Honestly, he seems like truthfully at every final table. I think he's been at like the highest percentage that I have been a part of since being the host of the Super Millions, and no accident there. A man who works hard and knows his way around the poker table, cash and tournaments.
Almost 10 million. Like, how much does Nicholas have overall winnings on GG?
Nicholas on GG, I think that was flashed at the beginning. Let me see his GG winnings. I want to say it's like 20 million. It's 19,879,000.
Yeah.
That's the notes I have. So I mean, he's hovering to cross 20 million with another 1/5 or better. He would officially be on for 20 mil. So pretty impressive. That's crazy, right? We're not talking like all of online poker sites. We're not talking about live earnings, whatever. We're saying one site, 20 mil ski. And
that's impressive. Yeah.
So ace queen, nice check raise, initiated 2 overs in the nut flush opportunity. So it is a pot for Juan Pardo Dominguez, who is up to 3.5 million, and actually Nicholas is in third all of a sudden. Tough table here.
We've got a blind on blind confrontation brewing here in a moment. Psychologist with ace 10, below 20 big blinds. One with king jack. This could be a hand that goes all in pre. Could be a hand that we see a flop with. Just a limp with the ace 10. I think it's gonna limp jam all in, I would think. I don't think Juan's gonna check back king jack. We'll see though. Probably see a raise, and then the psychologist has a decision to make. Just goes with the check back. Wow.
All right, well, I got news for the chat. We are over 200 thumbs up. I appreciate all you very much. We have 1,500 watching roughly, and you guys are going to get a bonus $100 giveaway. And I'm actually going to let JNandez choose. And the great news for the chat is I would have given them Victor, who just got knocked out. So that was like wild timing to lose the flip. You guys are on fire today. The audience has already got a little extra EV in them. And JNandez, you can pick for the audience, excluding Juan, Nicholas, and Zhao. Those are just too healthy of stacks. They already got a pick that's out. I'm giving them a bonus free roll. So you have a choice here. Excluding those 3, you can pick who.
Well, are you sure those are the only guys that are excluded?
I am. I'm kind of teeing it up for you to be a hero for the fans. But I, based on GoPro Warriors results, that he has not had a lot of experience, at least here from what I can see. I'm going to throw that. I'm going to give that. I'm going to put the weight on for that.
You got it.
You got it. We're
GoPro Warrior.
GoPro Warriors activated. You guys have the chip leader out of nowhere, 6-handed, 230 likes. If you guys are liking that, you have the chip leader and $100 giveaway if he wins. You better hit that thumbs up, although you're already over the quota of 200. So I just appreciate you, anyone that hits it. Let's go, chat. Let me know where you're watching from. I got the chat on the side. I got JNandez in Vegas. I am here with you again for Super Millions. I'll be with you next week. Big guests lined up every week. We got, it's just like we got heavy hitters, man. It's crazy. JNandez here, Brandon Adam. We got Nacho. We got guests, man. That's part of the show. It's part of the fun. We got you guys asking. Put some names in the chat. Who do you want to see future guests? Let's bring them in, JNandez. This is GG, man. They deliver. Best software, best guarantees, best guests, this, that. They just, if you're going to be the best, you might as well hit every category. And GG's is doing it, man. So here we go again. The chat has got the chip leader with 6 left. I like this spot. Like, it's not, GoPro Warrior, respect, man. I'm not saying you can't do it or you're not the favorite, but you got to battle. If you're going to beat the best, you may as well do it with 1,500 people sweating a $100 giveaway possibility. We got India in the chat, Germany, Canada, Vegas, baby, John Ronaldo. There you go. I might have to get you an autograph, John Ronaldo, for your man right there. Your man JNandez, he's in the building. He's around. Where do you usually play? Where can people find you if they want a live glimpse at your stuff?
At the area. I basically live across from the area, so like whenever a good game runs down there, I can just hop in. GoPro is getting put to the test now with a double barrel by Zhao on the ace. Last card GoPro wants to see, obviously.
Yeah, not a welcome sight. And Zhao Vieira, who's been quiet, he's playing well as usual. He is chipping up.
Yeah, I'm Googling here some nice steakhouses in Vegas. So one of those will be my choice in case one of my guys can win.
They could definitely. They're definitely willing and able. You've got some worthy formidable opponents, and wanting to grind you as a guest. Okay, we could like that. There's some other request. Jalvier's also will be likely on. He's been on the pod a few times, and he is fresh off a bracelet. That's a man that knows his way around No Limit. This is a very tough lineup here. Again, some knowns, some well knowns, and some unknowns. But psychologist showed us the Jack 9 off heart. He showed us he can hit a 1-outer. He showed us he can bluff. I like his game today, and he's got a open-ended straight flush here with the best hand. So see what he does. I think checking makes sense, but you also could deny some equity. It's tricky. It's scary, right? To bet into Nicholas, one of the chip leaders who's can put you to the test at any point. All right, he does bet it, takes it down. Nicely done. Okay, no real hands here. And we see Jao with the ace king, two players that probably played some of the most poker against each other. I would imagine Juan Pardo Dominguez, Nicholas, and Jao have played a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. These guys just meet every week for some really high stakes action. That they must have a really deep understanding of how they play. Jack 10 suited here from psychologist. Beautiful hand. And then Barrack is very, very shallow. I wonder he's going to be defending. He doesn't really have that much ICM pressure now. Such a large gap between him and the rest of the field. He makes the call, flops an open-ended straight draw, backdoor flush draw as well.
Yeah, this is a very good flop. If you defend and you're short, your risk premium the lowest, right? For you to bust right now, it's not a huge problem because you are the shortest stack. So that is a spot where he is just going to go ahead and slam for equity. This is actually super interesting because Jack 10 suited has two overs. There are draws that you're beating. And I mean, it's 371 though, really would not like it a kind of hard to call there with Jack 10 high, although it is a really well executed play there for Brock. Doesn't let his opponent check back, doesn't maybe let him bet where he can't fold with like some ace highs, and he does end up taking it down. So well played there.
Classic stop and go play. Just call the big blind and go all in on the flop. Well executed with a 5 high.
Very well done. And GoPro Warrior is still maintaining the chip lead currently at the moment. Yeah, this is we're down to 6. Of course, can never tell. It doesn't really matter necessarily if a few people get knocked out quickly or not, because the stack sizes consolidate generally around the 60, 120, 80, 160. That's when we'll typically see the tournament include, but there is no guarantee. And also some of these players are so capable. If we haven't seen this a lot lately where at 3, 4, 5 handed, there's been like a runaway chip stack where they just get to like, go insanely crazy and just jam. And we see a little bit of that, but not so much. And right now, right, the top 4 stacks are pretty close too as well. So, see how it shakes out. Can take one cooler, one big flip or something, and that can change. But as of now, there's definitely a lot of play left at the 70K big blind level.
Yeah, everyone has to be a little bit careful because like all of these big stacks, because there's so much potential to just get hurt a lot in the process of executing a bluff, for example. So I think we're going to see we're not going to see anyone who's just like trying to be the table captain right now. I think these players also respect each other a lot, and I don't think that we will see some crazy opens for the moment, and until we might see like a big double up from one of the chip leaders.
Yeah. Well, Jack 10 off defense, ace 5 suited, not a great flop with no backdoor flush draw. It's still going to come in for a bet. Try to take it down here, although this is a spot where he realizes there's going to be a lot of resistance, a lot of draws or 9x, Jack X that stick on, 4x, etc. So this is a This is a spot where I don't think Juan's going to see him put too many chips in with this particular board and run out.
Yeah, it could be tricky on the river because if the river breaks off, there's still a lot of draws that don't beat ace high and break off. We actually see a check call donk turn line here by the big blind, sort of taking advantage of the bottom card pairing. And Juan is still ahead of a lot of draws at this point, so I'm not sure if he wants to fold now.
Right, and a really well executed hand here from Zhao to not let his opponent check back. You know, this is something where I think a lot of default players will just decide, oh, I could be beat by queens or a better jack or whatever, but kind of realizing the 4 is a better card for his range, and also he will have some bluffs that he decides this is a good time to lead out and maybe put some hands like ace queen ace king in trouble. And if somehow he's beat, right, he also could be in trouble. And look at this, Juan is not having it. He decides exactly that, and actually now Zhao gets put in a tough position with the modest top pair, right? Because now it's like, oh well, I'm losing, I'm getting crushed by ace jack, I'm getting crushed by queens, and what is this, what does my opponent have here?
Yeah, this is a tricky spot. But I don't think Jack 10 can fold quite yet, but the river will be dicey. A lot of draws that are completing. Jack 10 will remain unimproved on almost all rivers, just like this one, a king. Pot size bet left. Is Juan going to push the envelope or not? It would be a very difficult call down for Ja to make with Jack 10. What is ace 5 going to do? Should be a very courageous all-in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, also.
Oh, wow. This is sick. Oh, wow. It's not giving up on this pot.
This is the play of the day for sure. Yeah. And if you're Zhao, you actually have an interesting hand, right? Because you have a diamond and a club for those draws that like might be, taking control and bluffing. You do block queen 10. The board is paired though, right? And this is definitely the hand of the day, no question about it. I mean, if you don't get excited, if this isn't an exciting hand of poker for you, this stage of the tournament, 6 left, just shy of the 6-figure payday, 320 up top. This is a grown man bluff right here.
Imagine the call as well. If he has the guts to call down on the king here for a pot size bet river, for a river pot size bet. I mean, this is, you have to give your opponent a lot of credit to be hyper aggressive to call the river with Jack 10. But these guys obviously know each other in and out. So I wonder what he will do.
This is sick. This is very sick. I mean, this is exciting.
What do you think he will do?
Oh man, I'm up against it now. I'm 0 for 1 in these spots. I just like I see. I don't know. I'm a flip a coin. I'm just gonna say he calls. I'm gonna say calls.
I agree. No, I'll go with call as well. I want to see a call because it just makes the hand even more epic. I just want to see a big call. This is a massive call. If he calls this hand on the river for 2 million chip bet. Imagine calling here and being good. Like you feel like you're on top of the world.
Yeah, he's also got bracelet confidence. He's crushing. He's winning. These guys, I tell you, he's not afraid to bust 6. That's for sure. But of course, there is real money. This is a real ICM spot. He's got a 1.7 million stack. He folds plenty of chips. Still, in a good spot. He's in essentially 4th healthily, right? So that's worth 152. If he calls, it's 92, and he's wrong. If he wins though, he is a big stack chip leader, right? He would be 1 point. Yeah, I mean, he's got, this is a huge spot. One of the bigger spots we've seen in 10-minute clock. He is going to take his time here, and he's weighing it out. Pretty sick.
I think everyone in the chat wants to see that call. But also this bluff is very courageous. Like definitely respect for the bluff. Either way. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Show it.
Sick hand, Juan. Wow. Hand of the day, no doubt. Big boy stuff. And Zhao doesn't have to stew long though. He's got queens the next hand, but he's gonna be, that's real stuff. That's a real hand. That's one of the sicker bluffs I've seen on the Super Millions. And that says a lot because we see a lot of big time plays and in spots.
Also, the confidence that Dominguez is now moving forward with has to be immeasurable. Just getting it through with ace-5 there. You have 3-bet and a fold. Yeah, that was a big hand.
That was sick. Yeah, that was fun. That was you know, man, Juan Pardo now you can see he's got 4.2 million and he has the chip lead. 3.5 for GoPro Warrior is your guy for the giveaway, guys. He is now in second, but wow, that was, man, this is, people are gonna press. This is how it is though. Guys really do go for it, right? We got top level players. You know, it's not like super surprising, but that was cool. That was cool to watch. And here we see GoPro Warrior open up Queen 10 suited and flop top pair with a gut shot. So really nice flop for GoPro Warrior. Let's see what kind of sizing he does go for about a third pot.
Yeah, this previous hand is also interesting because a lot of players, they know how to check call the flop, the bottom card pairs. We're going to lead out for a small sizing, and it's all routine. But then what do you do once you get raised and then jammed on the river when you have that mediocre hand? And that's really where things become interesting. I think that Juan Dominguez took advantage of that by understanding that this block bet could mean a lot of things, but how comfortable is he facing a raise and a jam on the river with all those hands that are betting 1/3 on the turn? So this was definitely an out of the box play, or outside the box more so.
Yeah, above the rim, we'll call it. Very advanced, very willing and able to do it. It's one thing to know it, the right player, this play that will likely work, but it's not easy to shell that, pull that off, and understand what you're trying to get to fold. And also it's scary, right? Because Jao could just have Queen 10 and play it like that or something, where he makes a huge hand, but also wants to leave some bluffs in, and he doesn't have the nuts. And you know, to bet into a strong range there takes moxie. So well played for Juan Pardo Dominguez.
Jao will not be happy when he sees it on stream that he was bluffed by his 5 of hearts. Might play into the whole dynamic. We'll see.
Yeah, he's picking up more pots. 9 high is getting it through, and he has 4.2 million and the button. Some big hands. We've seen some big pair collisions here, though. We see blind on blind, 3s versus king 4 suited, relatively deep stacked, right? So they are, 50, 40 blinds is 2.8. So a little over 40 blinds effective for Nicholas. Does get met with the raise, and for sure going to be continuing here with the suited king 4. Does call and gets a good flop against 3s in particular, where 3s is going to have a hard time being able to get to a showdown here.
We saw GoPro Warrior so far being a little bit more on the straightforward and passive side. We'll see how that continues down this really favorable board for him. The ace high board after raising the small blind. Will he apply pressure on a king? Also king, another great card. I mean, he has kings, he has ace king, ace jack, jack jack, king king, ace ace, like all these good hands, but decides to resign with the pocket pair.
Yeah, Nicholas now with some nice showdown value, also drawing to the second nut flush draw. Doesn't want to get blown off the hand, sees a check, and likely just, with the king on this board, deciding to 753 in the middle. Important pot would put him in second if he's got the best hand. Does go for a value bet now, so pretty,
seems thin,
yeah, it seems thin but reasonable and nicely played. 3.5 million. Does take a
oh my god.
Whoa.
This is a big setup.
Wow. Chat, you guys have GoPro Warrior. You have officially a dream scenario in the moment as an 80-20 favorite. Both suits covered. It almost seems too good to be true. We're going to see a 3-bet, 4-bet. We're going to see the whole enchilada here. This is pretty sick.
This is one of those spots that's just like you got to be on the right side of the coin.
Yeah, this is a welcome sight for GoPro Warrior, who does he flat though? Could he flat, or do you just against Nicholas? Do you just say, you know what, maybe I cooler him, maybe he's got ace king, maybe he's got jacks, queens, kings, tens, and we just get it in and get the money going? Because if I flat, maybe the board's dicey, and we get, you know, scared. And it's also big ICM, right? Kind of like, all right, somehow he folds, pick up a big pot, still have the chip lead, and we're five-handed versus getting trappy. So I would think that, yeah, he does go with the raise. And, you know, Nicholas may sort of realize the news here. I mean, we saw him make a hero fold. I'm not even considering that he could fold this. I'm just saying he kind of realizing, though, he's obviously going strongly with queens. This is a value spot, button versus, yeah, it's just in, but maybe realizing he's going to get shown more value than often. And wow, aces to queens, 6.8 million in the middle. And wow. Whoa, ace and a queen. Gonna need to hit a one outer on the river or else. This is big news for the chat. Oh, that looks scary. It's not it. That'll get the blood flowing. And chat is alive and well. Nicholas Osted, who has 2 titles in season 1, 3 titles season 2, maybe regarded as the best tournament player in the world currently, is got a cooler. And he is now from second to super short in 6. And Barack and psychologists welcoming that, as there's a 26K pay jump between 6th and 5th. And Nicholas is currently with a little over 2.5 blinds. So about 2.5 blinds. That is very sick and very good for you guys. If you are on the giveaway opportunity for $100, you are chip leaders with 6 left. Very sick.
Not even sure how happy Nicholas was with the 4-bet, but obviously you can never, ever fold queens in this spot. It's one of those spots, just plays itself.
Yeah, it plays itself. And Juan Pardo Dominguez definitely can go for a lighter open than this. He does wake up with ace queen suited. If you're a psychologist, you have ace 9 suited and you see the guy with 2 big blinds. This is actually sort of a dicey board, and or dicey spot, I should say. And you see the fold there. Do you blame him for the 26K difference? You just don't want to even get in the spot. You flop top pair, get a nut flush draw, and you're out. So interesting there to fold though. Would you have seen a flop, or do you just like that line of thinking?
I think that's the way to go there. Also, Barrick is also sitting on like half your stack kind of. So it's just time to sit it out at the moment.
Well, as it stands, King 10 for 400K is going to be in against Ace 8 off. Everyone rooting for Juan here. There is a king immediately on the flop, and now there is an 8, but he needs more than that if he is going to knock the player out. Not going to get the runner 8 or the ace. And look at this, Nicholas still in it, and he has got 400K, so still not out and dangerous. And of course, everyone is rooting against him. Here he goes, King Jack suited, and he is going to get, wow, actually Barack, this is sort of a dicey one, right? Because it's like, wow, you probably had the best hand, but like you want to put it at risk. And is Nicholas going to force a fold here from Barack?
3 players behind as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
He's the one, he doesn't necessarily want to be the one, right, to do the dirty work and put it at risk. But if he did, he would be ahead. But you could see not even that ahead, right? If he knew his exact hand, yeah, if he shows you the ace 8, ace 9, ace 5, ace 6, okay. If he shows you any of the broadways or a pair, you know, it's like, this is a big one. And your guess is as good as mine on how this player will proceed. I think he's going to fold.
I think he's going to call, but I wouldn't know what the right answer is, so to speak.
The problem is when Nicholas gets like ace 3 or something through, right? And then you don't call, and now he picks up the chips or even gets like a double, you know, through whatever. So it's very close. There's a lot to consider here, but we do see a fold. And yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not talking about what's right or wrong. I'm just saying, I think in the moment, I just feel like also this player, you know, Barack is, let's take a look. He is got, you know, compared to this field, it seems like less results and maybe experience. So I don't know. Again, not saying that's even a bad fold, but probably is correct, or it's very close. So you can't blame him for folding. I just think that, yeah,
it's definitely an understandable fold for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe in hindsight, he will regret it, because Nicholas might come, like he could put together a comeback. 2 big blinds, now quite a few more. It's definitely not impossible.
Yeah, he's got 6 blinds all of a sudden with the puck. Got the button, 6 blinds, plenty of play, and he is going to, in theory, leapfrog Barack, who is going to hit that big blind right now. So yeah, it's pretty much, they're tied essentially in that wheelhouse. And again, Nicholas is definitely knows his way around different stack sizes. He was chip leader, and now he's a short stack, but sort of like Victor, we've seen Victor maneuver off the very short stacks in pretty creative ways to ladder and get himself in good positions as a short stack. There's definitely an art to that. And that is, it's not an easy stack to play. Like it's big decisions, right? Whether you go with something, whether you call off, whether you shove. And here, king nine first in. Again, these two, he realizes the two stacks, right? Psychologist and Brock are not really looking to call. So this is a good spot for him. He's more worried about Zhao. And as it turns out, he does get it through. And now look at this. He's basically tied with Psychologist. I mean, just below that. So he's a little shorter, but not much. There's really not much to separate them. Can we talk about the chat? The chat having the chip leader 6-handed GoPro Warrior was a cool 7 mil. I mean, that is exciting. $100 possible giveaway. I'm gonna have to figure out a way. If you have hit the thumbs up button, we'll do a keyword for the chat to find. I don't know if we got someone. I'm gonna have to pick a winner and do a giveaway chat. We'll put a, what are we gonna put? We'll figure out. Let's do it real quick. We'll do it for 2 minutes. PLO5. Type the PLO5 is your keyword in the chat. If you type that, I will, and GoPro Warrior wins, I will pick someone for $100 giveaway. PLO5 keyword. Thank you for all those. Hit the thumbs up. You will be eligible. Almost 2,000 people watching. We appreciate it. Jeff Gross alongside JNandez. We got a dinner on the line. You got $100 on the line. You got the chip leader currently. Good luck to you. PLO5 keyword. Yeah, we'll start seeing. There it is. That comes in. Slight delay on YouTube chat. Have you hit the thumbs up button yourself, JNandez? Don't try to scoop this 100 though. Don't try to scoop that.
I was thinking about like putting in the words, but
well, I hope you hit the thumbs up at least.
I did.
All right. Beautiful. You guys are all stars. 292 already out of 1,800. Some of you are probably lazy. Maybe you can't reach it on your phone. It's inconvenient. Maybe you're multitasking and you can't get to the thumbs up button. But those that did participate, we appreciate it. And we are seeing GoPro Warrior with a pretty hand on the button, although he is going to get met with a resistance, not what he likes to see. Guys, we'll tell you when to stop that. For now, you got it. You're activated. Let me get that keyword giveaway.
He's in the tank. Imagine. Okay.
Right? He's just like, you got the whole chat on his back. He's like, I'm going for it right now. High variance. We're gonna take a flip. We're gonna take against ace, queen, or king and try to get there. But yeah, that is not the case, and we are going to still be playing with 6. And Nicholas, man, out of the depths, got some help. Psychologist shoves, and Barack again, similar position, right? It's not fun to be calling off, but it is ace 9 off, and this is like almost similar, closing the action versus ace 10, where it was a little different. This is close as well, but at some point you gotta go. This though, it's also under the gun, 6-handed.
Yeah, Psychologist has a decent stack in comparison to Nicholas and Barak, so I think he's not going to put him in a too wide of a range. Makes the fold with ace 9. What is Nicholas going to do with queen 10? And now GoPro could obviously apply pressure given the ICM. Oh, he just goes all in.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow, so that's what we talked about. I haven't really been seeing this, but he actually in this spot, he does have a interesting spot where really Zhao is the one where he's targeting there that can't call with some very strong hands that may play back or flat him. And this is now we're kind of seeing one of those situations we haven't gotten in a while, right? Which is that sort of massive lead against stacks behind. He's also on the left of one part of Dominguez. So everything's shaping up for GoPro Warrior at the moment for a nice score.
Nicholas keeps picking up hands after hand. Just picking up the blinds with it.
Yeah, this is a good spot. Look at
Another big hand.
Another good spot for Nicholas here for 10, 11 bigs. Just gonna fist pump shove and get no call. Could even get called by much worse, but nicely done. And Nicholas all of a sudden at 1.1 million. That is a tough. This is exactly like the nightmare if you're Brock, right? You don't call the ace 10, you think about it's close, and now here you are not getting in first, not getting in a spot, and you are down to 3.5 blinds yourself. And here you go with queen high all in, although this will get through.
Should work out.
Likely. I mean, he's got the 5-3 suited for, yeah. All right, PLO 5 keywords are in. If you've hit the thumbs up, you're eligible, and we will pick a winner. Got it. Still, we have to have GoPro Warrior take it down. No guarantee, although he's got to be the betting favorite at this point. 6.7 million with 6 left and a not quite double second, but close.
Joe calls.
Interesting. Welcome sight if you're Brock getting the queen 9 deuce flop top 2 and Jao though. This is kind of interesting. Like I mean, if you're gonna call here with the 5-3 suit on this flop, it almost makes you wonder what's the difference. Just put it in pre, but maybe there's some flops, right? He would fold like ace king 9 or something. And here, I mean, hits the 3. No way. I was gonna say that'd be a little too much. The running 3s. That would be I've seen a lot of things, but that would be a lot. As it stands, it's not gonna happen. All right, guys, you can stop hitting PL5. You are activated for the keyword. I will figure that out. And we will pick someone for $100 if GoPro Warrior does win the tournament. We do gonna play to a winner today, so we will find out.
It's also interesting now because Jao will probably push all in. King 7 suited for Barak.
Yeah, he's gonna push here. I mean, there's wow, snap call. King 7 suited has been patient. He snap calls. Can't blame him that he thinks he's gonna have the best hand in the spot. But as it stands, he gets a really unlucky flop. But hey, life is on the turn. Ace deuce. It is got to hit a river. If he hits a spade, it is not. It's paint. It's GG for Brock. Out. Good game. Good sport. Gives a thumbs up. The JNandez emoji there. And we are down to 5. There he is. Barack Wizbrod with a Super Millions score and pushing him over 2 million in GG poker earnings. Congrats to you, Barack. Well played. 5-handed at the moment. Nicholas out of the depths and in 4th place currently. So crazy spin up.
And this would be a sick comeback after the cooler. For guys just tuning in, Nicholas got coolered by aces with queens. Small bet versus button against GoPro Warrior. Was down to 2 big blinds. Wow. That is a big hand for Nicholas.
Yes, and GoPro Warrior is got a spot where he can, he can do a lot. Obviously, it's a nice suited hand. Small blind, big blind does go for the limp. That makes a lot of sense. You do see players sometimes go 3, 3.5, 4x, putting pressure, especially with the chip lead and a few of the other stacks. But as it turns out, Nicholas doesn't get any. Look at the small size. I mean, that's very inviting.
He definitely wants to see a call. He does get the call.
All right, on the PLO5, guys, you typed in the word PLO5, you are eligible, so don't worry. And if you hit the thumbs up, you are in. We don't need to keep saying PLO5, although I think JNandez does like that, to see that being put through the chat periodically. It's got to feel good, right? Just throwing the game.
Great game. You seem to enjoy like 5 card now more than 4 card. Is that the thing?
It's just like, it just seems to be what people are playing. My kind of people that I know and group is very, very, very fun. Like they like that. And I've been playing a lot of it. And yeah, I like it. I would say I like it more than 4, I guess. Although I do think 4 is kind of pure and it's still like, it's like the right amount. 5 is like a little bit crazy. Actually, now that I have you here, matter of fact, JNandez, I know we're talking about doing a podcast coming up, but let me ask you this. Can you speak to the combination difference between Hold'em, PLO4 and PLO5, and also like actually the difference in variance and craziness, the PLO4 versus 5? Because like, I will say I'm a part-time therapist now and firefighter for people that have, games and have to deal with people losing their mind in variance. Could you maybe put some in perspective and scale, people understand the difference between 4 and 5 and what kind of variance is real and should expect?
Well, we can start with combinatorics. So like we're talking about like 1,326 distinct combos in Hold'em. And we pushed that up to 270,000 combos in PLO4 cards, so like 270,000 hands or distinct different combos in PLO.
So
and
say that again. Hold'em is what? How many?
Like 1,326.
Yeah.
Like distinct different combos essentially, and then we have 270,000 combos in PLO. So one might think, well, you only add 2 cards. What's the big difference? But there's a massive difference and a multiplier effect in place. And then when you look at 5-card PLO, we're talking about over 2 million different combos. Wow. So from 270,000 to over 2 million, it's like 2.6 million combos or so. And the reason that's important is also because it increases the complexity of the game, but it also increases, and that's the main benefit, the complexity in solving the game. Because now if you would use a solver, you would have to plug in, or you have to basically run through 2.6 million hands every single time, or combos. And that makes the whole solving process a way slower and way more difficult. And that's why the game is so unexplored as well. So it will take a lot more time for technology to pick up on that. When it comes to variance, so variance is determined by different factors. So in 5-card PLO, for example, if people play, if every flop is 5-way in any game, basically, like variance can go up very high because, like, if you think about it this way, if you play against only one player on the flop, you can just bluff sometimes and win the hand without any variance. You just take it down right there. But if you're all in on the flop 4 ways and 5 ways, like frequently, then your variance shoots through the roof in any game format. And 5-card PLO currently is played in a way where you will see 4, 5, 6 people to the flop all the time. And that on top of the fact that the equities run so close, just shoots variance through the moon, basically. So there are a lot of gambling spots out there, like a lot of spots where you don't have much of an edge, but you have to get the money in. And that's just like part of the game. And that's also why a lot of recreational players love the game, because you can actually run up a stack and you don't feel like you're as exposed to someone who is much better than you in every single spot.
I want to interrupt you for 1 second. First of all, GoPro Warrior just hit the nuts on the turn. Very nice fold 1, part of Mingus with ace jack off, releasing. And also Nicholas set the trap. If you saw that with the queen 4 of hearts, slipped it over to Zhao, who made 2 pair on the river. The flush came in. There was a dynamic board. Made a nice check back with 2 pairs. So couple cool, interesting hands, but I am fascinated by 5-card, and I love hearing the combination differences and sort of the variant stuff. And I mean, could you talk to the effect of like going on how many buy-ins might be normal in PLO4 for potentially winning player versus like PLO5? Like what are some of the swings you've been on or have seen? Could you put that in perspective?
So if we talk about like 100 big blind buy-in game, and the actual big blind is 1 big blind out of that. So let's say there's you play like 50 cents a dollar online, which is an all-in over here. Not going to see a call though. So that's like the most standard thing people know about. It's like, okay, you have let's say you play PLO 100, blinds 50 cents a dollar, and you have $10,000. That's 100 buy-ins. So like those $10,000, you could get into a downswing where you would lose like 100 buy-ins for sure. You could lose also 200 buy-ins potentially. Like that's certainly real, but you have to be quite unlucky to get onto the 200 buy-in stretch. But also there are other things to consider. For example, like your win rate has a big impact on your downswing, like on how big the downswing will be monetarily as well, and in big blinds. So that always plays a big factor. Like if you're scared of the win, if you're scared of the variance, then always think about, well, if you improve at the game, then the variance also automatically goes down in a certain way. Like not the standard deviation of the variance, but like you will have smaller losing sessions and stretches on average. So that's certainly one factor to consider. Now, what a lot of people, so again, it's like 100 buy-ins, 200 buy-in downswing in 4-card PLO, certainly a possibility. Now, in 5-card PLO, that should go up. But also if you consider how people play, which again is like very aggressive, five people to the flop, a lot of all-ins, a lot of like shallow stacks because a lot of games are straddled, then that could also go up a lot. So if you look at like, let's say you play a game like 5-10, but the reality is like 5-10, 5-card PLO, but maybe it's more like a 5-10-25 or 5-10-20-50 or whatever, then now you can't really talk about 100 big blinds being $1,000. Like now, 100 big blinds could be $2,000 or $5,000 because the game plays much bigger than advertised. So I think you should always take that into account when you look into how many buy-ins can you run under EV, because you might look at $1,000 as 1 buy-in, but in reality, it's more like half a buy-in or something.
Let's say 10-20 with an ante, like $2 ante per player, right? Like
yep.
10-20 game. We've seen a couple wild hands here, and chips are flying right now at the moment. But I do want to, while we have JNandez, it's a treat to get to talk PLO and PLO 5. So like to put that in perspective, you're playing a 10-20 like 2K buy-in game that's like pretty active and splashy. You're saying that you could easily lose 200K or more or 400K like in a game like that if you were That's not like insane.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be kind of unlucky, but also what you have to consider is, do you play the game deep as well? Or do you play short sessions where your stack is on average, let's say 2,500, 3,000? And for most people, the answer would be no, I'm also playing like a 5K stack, I'm playing a 10K stack. And suddenly it's not really the initial game format, right? If you, every hand you had 2K, yeah, losing 200,000 is still possible, but you have to be pretty unlucky. But the reality is, like, the way this game plays is like 10, 20, you buy in 2,000, but your average stack size across your session might be like $4,000. And that has a big impact on like a game where when people 3-bet, 3 people call. Like now your variance goes up as your stack size goes up as well, even though the blinds remain the same. So I think that's something to consider as well. So like, can you lose 100K quick in like a 2K buy-in game? Well, if your average stack size is 4K and people play crazy, the answer is absolutely yes. But also, again, how big is your edge? If your big is massive, like, and another thing to consider is like, what's your playing style? Like, if you
pause you for a second, we got a big spot here with aces versus king 7 suited. 7 on the turn, picks up some additional outs. Only a little over 2-1 favorite. Can he fade? It is a running 2-pair psychologist. What did he have for breakfast? This man is on a mission from a 1-outer to a running 2-pair against aces. He's got 1.9 million, and he is going to send people to a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. He is crushing people's dreams right now because he is in position. And the stacks, look at these stacks. We got 2 million basically 4-way and 6 million stack. Your hero, the $100 giveaway man, is in the lead. And we'll get back to JNandez.
That's been interesting final table because we saw, as you said, psychologist got it in with jacks over queens, hit at the 1-outer because Nicholas folded a jack. Nicholas was down to 2 big blinds, now up to 2 million again. And now psychologist cracks ace of king 7. I mean, this definitely some, as we're talking about variance, it's part of poker, as we can see on this final table. Like it definitely plays into it. I would say in general, the way I would approach variance is that I wouldn't honestly try to think too much about it because it is the single thing that you can't change and anything about it. So I would think more about, okay, well, there are ways to reduce variance, but I wouldn't necessarily think too much about, am I exposed to variance? So, for example, if you play less aggressive, or if you play in less crazy games, or you buy in less deep, like those are all measurements to reduce variance to a certain degree. And those are things to consider. Like, do you buy in a 2K game for 1K or 2K or 5K or 10K? Like, it will make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we see both players have a pair here. King Deuce 5-9. Nicholas with the lead and gets a card that is definitely a good card in theory for him, right? He's got a heart draw, even though it's only 2. He picks up a gut shot and he still has the king, but got to be aware of hands. And Javier with the 9-5 going to decide, does he want to protect? Does he want to bet? He's just happy to go to a potential showdown. So we do see a check and 462 in the middle. And Nicholas now with a decision decides the check, and likely we'll see check. There it is. Very quickly on to the next hand. And Nicholas from 118K to 2.5 million. He is in second. Man, that is not to be denied. And again, certain guys you just kind of have to respect, you kind of have to fear, and you just always are rooting against them when you're at their table because you want to see them depart, of course, for the pay jumps for yourself, but also because of their formidable ability. And he is definitely showing us what he's capable of right back in the seat. And we are shaping up for a potential $100. That's a scary one if you're the audience. If it ends up, he picks up a few more chips, go Pro Warrior versus Nicholas for 100 for the fans. That could be quite an epic storyline. Let's see how this shakes out with 5 left. This is in the moment, it does appear that is the most likely scenario. Of course, the other 3 players besides Nicholas that are in that vicinity, anyone's game. But ooh. Pair ace king. I don't know. Let's see if Nicholas you can see that's interesting. 5-handed even gives away 3s as the second stack. So very interesting there.
I think what a lot of people see in variance is like too much negativity, because like you can also experience like the positive side of variance, right? Like in tournament poker, you can win a tournament that's a lot of positive variance, and it is what makes the game exciting. Go Pro Warrior with ace king, now psychologist. That's really where the psychology comes into play. Is Go Pro Warrior just sort of like slashing back, or does he actually have a hand? And this time he did have a hand.
Yeah, let's see if GoPro Warrior can sort of take some aggressive lines. We did see an open jam in a spot where it was definitely on the more aggressive side, and it was some big stack job behind. So here, though, he does go for a raise now versus 4-5 suited limping in, maybe deciding this is a hand that's sort of, it's disconnected, although it's suited. He opens it up and he does outflop Nicholas with a 6, but a very monotone board. A little tricky to play out of position. Let's see what he does here.
Yeah, it's always interesting. Like it's the dream spot. You have the big stack on the final table and you have the ability to push people around. So on the one side, it's obviously the spot you want to be in. On the other side, there's a lot of pressure. Like you don't want to be the guy that had 7 million chips and ended up making some big mistakes because he was trying to overrun people and then ends up in third or something like that. There's a lot of pressure on GoPro Warrior to take this down now, also from the chat. They want to see it as well. We'll see how well he can execute on that pressure. Because some people, when they're a big stack, they would open every hand. Some people like play still conservatively tight. So it's going to be interesting to see how GoPro Warrior is going to approach this. We did see Nicholas before, like opening Queen 3 when he had a good position. So the different player types here for sure.
Yep, there is. And here, Queen 9, Queen 10, both players missed. 592 in the middle. Very interesting hands today, making some notes. Hope you guys are making notes at home. I actually was catching up with Patrick Leonard on a podcast earlier today. Made some really good points. It's important here when you see some of the plays players are making. They're playing 10K buy-in. This is essentially a Super Bowl each week, right? This is the highest buy-in. It's a big, huge guarantee. Some of the best players in the world. It's fun to watch. It's fun to make notes, but you have to be careful. If you're incorporating that against, in some $1, $2 cash games or into your $10 rebuy tournament, it's going to be some different results and spots. So take stuff, make notes, try to make observations, learn, discuss poker, but realize you can't just take plug and play certain things into different games, right? There's different players are going to be willing to make folds or spots, and that is an important learning. So again, high level stuff here, very fun to watch, and always fun to watch players maneuver in the game. And look at this, Queen Jack going to go for take it down, and Nicholas is up as he's at 3 million. Don't look now. I mean, he is clearly in second place.
Yeah, we will see a lot of pushing from those 3 stacks. So things can change pretty quick. Oh, just a min raise actually out of 12, 13 big blinds, 14 big blinds. That's interesting. It's out flopped by GoPro Warrior at the 4. Zhao has some interesting blockers. He has King Jack, blocking King Queen, blocking Queen Jack, blocking some King High flush draws. Goes for the bet.
Yeah. GoPro Warrior with the chips here definitely could put up some resistance, but
wow. Just folds the bottom pair.
That might have been a good spot to check raise, right? Kind of see where you're at, feel it out, just instead of just calling and allowing. But I can't blame him again. He's got 7 million. He doesn't really have to do heroic things at the moment. Then kind of looking to get to a heads up, hopefully maintain a chip lead. And again, you don't have to try to win every pot. And of course, we can see the whole cards and see like, oh, that would have worked, or we could be aggressive there, but could just be betting in the top pair. And Zhao actually really just has a kind of push or fold at that point. It gets played back at. So as it stands, club on club crimes here. 9-3 suited, Jack 6 suited. We see a limp, and these are to me some of the more interesting spots. I don't know if you feel that way in PLO too. The blind on blind. I just feel like it's such an interesting common spot, and there's a lot of room to work on and learn and grow on different stack sizes and situations. That is a very common battle we see in tournament poker, and a way people can learn to get better. I think is a way to study some blind on blinds.
Absolutely, the ante in the middle just makes this situation very interesting because both players are incentivized to continue with so many hands. Yeah, Xuan had a big stack before, and he dwindled it all the way down now. Obviously, losing aces over King 7 suited. He's trying to rebuild.
Ooh,
and
speaking of aces,
psychologist.
it just feels like 100's coming out of my pocket today. I just have a feeling. I mean, this is just kind of, and psychologist has pulled magic, but this is really going to take one. And again, he is now the shortest. So he is risk premium is the lowest. He's got 9s. The chip leader's open. This just feels like a slam dunk, 11 blind shove. And he is going to get met with a quick call. No slow rolls today. This is going to be in the middle. 2.3 million. Big moment for everyone. Aces are ahead, but sweaty. Spades covered though. So he's going to have to hit an 8 or 9 or psychologist will run out of magic. And that is it. 5 to 4. We are down to 4. This is four-handed poker. Guaranteed 152, 118 for psychologist. Got to be happy, right? Could have been out the door for 44. He has got a whole lot more. And this is going to be a four-handed event with your hero, chip leading. Thank you for those who hit the thumbs up. You will be eligible. 2,000 people watching right now. And $100 giveaway. I will select a winner if GoPro Warrior can go here and close this out. Although looming is Nicholas Osted, who has 5 Super Million titles, 2 in season 1, 3 in season 2, and is a dangerous opponent all the way back from 118K, I believe 6-handed or 7-handed, maybe 6-handed. And he's in position. He's in striking position again.
Between you and me, who has GoPro Warrior?
So as the host, I should be responsible for writing down things.
I'm gonna go back on tape.
We have to go back on tape. Let me think about this.
You picked Nicholas. I picked Zhao and Juan.
No, I think I got Juan deep, and I think you probably got GoPro because of chips. Like I think he was a big stack, and you were like, I got to take the chips. Can we get verification in the chat? I trust YouTube chat. I like them. I support them. I do giveaways with them. We have a great show every week, and I will ask them, you guys, who's watching from the beginning? Curtis, my man, Greg Curtis. I'm going to go to you. I see you've been watching. I know you were at the beginning. I'll let you kind of say it. Maybe we could watch the chat. Maybe it'll be unanimous. I believe you have him, but I'm not positive. If it's a flying dinner, I'll go review film. If not, I'll just give you the benefit of the doubt. But I
think eventually we will be in the same city. Not worried about that.
Yeah.
JNandez has him. Okay.
We are down to 4.
Oh, we got an interesting matchup here. Zhao with ace king and roughly 12 big blinds and pocket 9s for our chip leader in the small blind.
Wow, big spot.
We saw a lot of like pocket 9s versus ace king today. It feels
this has been, I mean, ace king's been undefeated, and this is, I want to see a match here. I want to see a little bit. I just don't, it feels like 9s. How could they lose this time? Ace king's won every time.
Oh.
It's just, guys, let me know if you take PayPal, Venmo, what your payment process, USDT, what you're looking for, because my man is up to over 10 million. You have got a real shot with 10.7 million, 3-handed. Great score for our friend Zhao with another 152 coming his way, but 3-handed right now. GoPro Warrior having himself a day, and he's got 2 world-class players left. He just took care of one though. Zhao Vera out in 4th, the Winamax Pro. Nice score, my friend. Good to see you on your constant crushing. And JNandez has him. All right, that's what I thought. That's what people are saying. They're saying sorry.
Nice steakhouses in Vegas right now.
Oof, steak. At least not sushi. There's a few expensive, very expensive spots. But punish me, man. We gotta go. If we're gonna go to a nice dinner, we gotta make it nice. But it's not over. Who do I have? You
have Nicholas.
I have Nicholas, and I don't have Juan.
I don't think so.
I think I have. I feel like
maybe you have him. I don't know. Chat.
I need him. I need him for a fight here. I gotta hope they can combine and get something, because right now GoPro Warriors got us against the map. If you have hit the thumbs up, if you have typed in PL5, you are eligible to win. And GG Poker Transfer, of course, once I'm in a country eligible to send. I'm actually, I haven't. How often are you streaming on Twitch right now? Is that something have you been doing a lot? I mean, in Vegas, I guess not much, right?
Not from here, but more working on like YouTube content in terms of videos.
See a 9 high bluff and a queen high call. Hello, Nicholas.
Wow, what?
just snuffs it out. Very well played. That's exciting. That's an eligible. That is an eligible hand of the day. Although the ace-5 suited has to be. That was just for the situation, the time. That was for the girth, the strength, the power, the situation. Juan Pardo Domingos is a short stack 3-handed, but he does have the hand of the day.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely looks like it's going to be Nicholas versus GoPro. We'll see though. All in call. On against
ace
Nicholas.
Deuce. Big shout out to Ann Arbor, Michigan, who is now Ace Deuce. That's the nickname. I love that hand. I love Ann Arbor, and I do not love how this hand's going for that hand because Ace Deuce is in trouble. King 10, the taxi cab, Houston. You guys know what I'm talking about. That is a double up, and we are going to play 3-handed. Continue.
And this is certainly not over yet. Not sure if GoPro even lost a hand so far today. Like he's been winning lots of hands.
Yeah, Jack 4, 9, 7. This is exciting. 3-handed is super exciting. It's fun to watch, and it's also, again, we see a big lead for GoPro.
Especially now, as you described, like these small blind spots are just so common. Happens all the time, 3-handed. And we really look into like wide ranges, pretty bad pre-flop hands, and how to navigate them post-flop. 9-7 takes it down here.
Yeah, that's this is GoPro time, baby. This is it. I got to root for the guy, man. He's against 2 Titans. You know, if I'm gonna lose 100, I want to lose it to in this fashion. This feels right, and at least actually it hurts that I'm losing the dinner. It'd be nice to have at least like get the dinner out of it. I'm just getting double whammied here, but I love the YouTube chat. I love the Super Millions. I don't mind. I don't mind throwing a hundo to the giveaway. It's fun doing giveaways, man. It's just fun. People love them, of course. Who doesn't love a giveaway? All right, well, he's got the best hand right now, and Nicholas has got the wheels spinning. Queen 8 off. He is gonna go for the raise here.
Wow. GoPro has not been too sticky post flop so far. We'll see if that changes now. Does make the call.
Holds on. A lot of good cards he could continue with or feel more.
So Nicholas defends pre, raises the flop, barrels a turn, takes it down. A lot of heart there. Oh, GoPro changes the sizing now. Goes for 3x on the button. And faces a jam. Calls with King 3. All in call King 3 of clubs against Ace 4.
Ooh, 3 finds a pair. Finds 100 on the turn, guys. You are heads up for $100. And the ace on the river not going to matter as the 3 comes. Pretty brutal run out. Juan Pardo Domingos, congrats. 3rd place, 194K helps ease the pain. And now it is. There he is. The headphones on, rocking the flag. Over 10 million GG Poker earnings. Not a guy you love to see at the table because he can get it done, and he is going to put you in. This could be over quick. This could go on for a while if Nicholas gets hot. But either way, guys, $100 heads up as a big favorite, and King 5 suited. There it is. Could have been one hand. It is all in, but not going to get called here. And JNandez, we are on a very exciting course here as we're going to see a pickup from Nicholas. I mean, maybe
he might call. He called King 3.
Yeah. I should have done an hour coaching PLO 5. I don't know. I was going to say that, but I didn't know what I could offer. I do have some juicy, I have some good games. I want to learn. I want to like dive in more to PLO 5. How is the charts? Is it similar to like, I've never actually looked at like the ranges. Is there like all those other there's all the charts are out for 6-handed, 7-handed, 8-handed, all that good stuff. Is that available? I haven't looked
Yeah,
at
we
that.
do have a software which has all the, I mean, 5-card PLO, there are solvers for that game. They're just like slower than in any other game, basically. We do have a software that there's no chart because there are too many hands, 2.6 million hands to organize, but it's more like it's like a database that you can just like type in hands and say, okay, I have this hand in this spot. What should I do? And there are a lot of differences between 4 and 5 card PLO when it comes to pre-flop hand selection. A lot of differences, like very surprising, very counterintuitive in the beginning. So when I started playing 5 card as well, there are some very surprising things you will see in a 5 card solver versus 4 card PLO. Like that 5th card does change a lot.
Jack 10, Queen Jack, this is got potential here. I mean, we got a powerful draw, right? The Queen Jack with the spade in the hand versus a middle pair that is also strong. So let's see how Nicholas plays this, but we are playing for keeps here, guys. We got 444 thumbs up, and that is a bingo card for GoPro Warrior.
Not sure if Nicholas is in the mood to fold right now. He's blocking the straight. He's blocking some sets. He's blocking some 2 pairs. He has a straight draw himself. Makes another call.
On the river, and GoPro Warrior has the spade in his hand. He's got a clear heads up value hand here, and a nice. That is
he checked. Oh my god, he could have won the tournament. Wow, that is a sick check.
Well, it's 12 million to 2 million. That's the good news. So a 6-1 lead in the moment. But man, if you're sweating at home the $100 giveaway, we have got some poker left for you. That could have been it. It could have been $100 out the door going out.
And really put him on the flush or the back. I mean, the flush draw and then the completed flush, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, look I'm snug. I'm never going to criticize someone for being too careful, but yeah, I agree. Like heads up, you got the spade as well. Your hand's strong. Maybe that's probably a good time to go for the blow against one of the world's best, but I'm not going to go pro Warrior. I like his game today. He's played well. I mean, he won that critical flip and he's held on and maneuver. It's not easy, right? You're still 5-6 handed. You got a lot of chips. There's a lot of play, and he found his way chip leader heads up. And this is now a big pot for him. He is going to have a commanding lead over 13 million to 1.3 million. So it's all in his control, but we saw Nicholas spin it up once from the depths. Can it be again 2-8 suited? He's got the limp going. A6 off will take that down, but getting close. Did you find your steakhouse yet, or is it too rapid? You have to spend some time. I mean, I'll
spend months thinking about it and really
I
will be fine.
I love
Didn't
it.
win yet anyway.
It's not over. You're right. I don't like that. I'm not doing that reversed. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
You have the same hand here, 5-3. It's going to be interesting. Oh, you just a barrel, just no fear. And it works. Yeah. Nicholas made a rare misstep with the King 4 hero call, but let's see if he can climb back. Pocket 8s all in.
Wow,
call.
This could be it for 100. There's a lot on the line. Nicholas Ostad is behind 8s. He pairs the 5. He needs more. Ooh, I thought it for a second that was it. That's a big card, but not it. To the river. Can our man, our hero, hold on? He does. GoPro Warrior is the champion. Nicholas Ostad, what a spin up to get $249,000. But there's your champ. GoPro Warrior going to click in on $319,000. More importantly, $100 giveaway for you guys. Everyone hit the thumbs up. 446 you are eligible, plus the 2,000 watching. We appreciate you guys so much. And JNandez, the hand of the day, ace-5 suited. That was impressive. What are your thoughts on the play overall and that hand in particular?
I mean, the hand really just shows high-level play from the best against the best. These players play against each other every week. And I'm sure in a week from now, 2 weeks from now, you will see those two guys with the ace-5 in mind. Like that will play into the future decisions. And I liked the fact that GoPro Warrior won and really stacked up against some of these absolute titans. So props to him or her.
Props to them. Props to whoever, gender neutral these days. You never know. That is a win. 460 thumbs up. You guys are all stars. We will be back next week for another episode. This is season 2, episode 53. I'm Jeff Gross. That's JNandez, and I got the winner right here. I'm going to put it in the chat. Cool Toys won $100. Message me on Twitter. And guys, what a day, what a show, what a event. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week, and we are going to have an amazing show for you. So we'll see you there, same time, same place. Thanks again to JNandez. Check him out on all his socials. Learn PLO5, learn PLO4. Be a good person. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.